While everyone's obsessing over the same 10 chases, Hollywood's been serving up absolute bangers that nobody talks about. Today we're diving into the underrated, the overlooked, and the criminally ignored car chases that prove you don't need a $100 million budget to make viewers grip their armrests. Number 1. Before Nicolas Cage was stealing cars and our hearts in the 2000 remake, there was H.B. Halicki's original Gone in 60 Seconds, and it's an absolute fever dream of practical stunts. This isn't some Hollywood blockbuster. Halicki wrote, directed, produced, and starred in this thing on a shoestring budget of roughly $150,000. In today's money, that's about $800,000, which wouldn't even cover craft services on a Marvel movie. The 40-minute chase sequence, yes, 40 minutes, destroyed 93 cars. Not movie magic, actually destroyed. Halicki didn't have the budget for CGI because, well, CGI didn't exist yet. Every crunch, every flip, every demolished vehicle was real metal meeting real pavement. The crown jewel, a 128-foot jump over stacked cars that compressed Halicki's spine and sent him to the hospital. The man literally sacrificed his vertebrae for cinema. Today's insurance companies would have a collective aneurysm. And here's the kicker, Halicki owned almost every car destroyed in the film. He bought junkers, fixed them up just enough to drive, then systematically demolished his own inventory. That's dedication bordering on obsession. The star car, Eleanor, a 1973 Ford Mustang, became so iconic that it influenced the 2000 remake's choice of a Shelby GT500. Halicki's widow, Denise Shakarian Halicki, still owns the rights and ensures Eleanor's legacy lives on. The original Eleanor sold at auction in 2013 for roughly $1 million, proving sometimes destroying your assets is the best investment strategy. Number 2. Speaking of Nick Cage, the man who never met a role he wouldn't enthusiastically overact, let's talk about Drive Angry, a movie so gloriously stupid it wraps back around to genius. This $20 million supernatural revenge thriller bombed harder than a lead balloon, making only roughly $11 million at the box office. But buried in this financial disaster is a chase scene that's basically a middle finger to physics and good taste. And I mean that as the highest compliment. Picture this, Cage is driving a 1969 Dodge Charger, because of course he is, while simultaneously shooting cultists and engaging in some extremely explicit activities with a female companion. It's multitasking at a level that would make productivity coaches weep. The stunt coordinator, Eddie Braun, later went on to jump the Snake River Canyon because apparently normal people's activities bored him. The practical effects here are phenomenal. Real cars, real explosions, real, how did they get insurance for this? Energy. What makes this chase underrated? It's self-aware chaos. Director Patrick Lussier knew exactly what kind of movie he was making and cranked everything to 11. It's a masterclass in controlled insanity. Number 3. Everyone remembers the Mini Cooper chaos from The Italian Job, but Matt Damon crashing a Russian taxi through Moscow? Criminally underappreciated. The Bourne Supremacy's Moscow chase is 11 minutes of pure anxiety filmed like a documentary from hell. Director Paul Greengrass employed his signature shaky cam style that either makes you feel like you're in the passenger seat or makes you need Dramamine, no in between. Here's what's wild. They filmed this in Moscow with actual Moscow traffic, not a closed set. Not green screen. Stunt coordinator Dan Bradley and his team coordinated with local authorities to weave between real civilians who had no idea Hollywood was about to turn their commute into an action sequence. The production destroyed roughly 36 cars, including multiple Volga taxis and that poor Mercedes that gets absolutely demolished. Each crash was choreographed down to the millisecond because, actual pedestrians. The sequence cost approximately $4 million, about $6 million today, but the authenticity is priceless. When that taxi scrapes against tunnel walls, you feel it. When Jason Bourne barely avoids a head-on collision, your heart rate spikes. Quick timeout. If you're enjoying this ride through Hollywood's forgotten chase scenes, smash that subscribe button. We're digging up more underrated movie moments every week, and trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Now, back to the chaos. Number 4. You know what's better than the French Connection's chase? It's a spiritual sequel that nobody watched. The 7-Ups reunited Roy Schneider with the same producer and stunt coordinator from the French Connection, Philip D'Antoni and Bill Hickman respectively, and somehow made an even more brutal chase scene that history forgot. This 9-minute sequence through New York and New Jersey features a Pontiac Ventura pursuing a Pontiac Grandville at speeds exceeding 90 miles per hour on public roads. No CGI, no safety nets, just American muscle and questionable decision making. Bill Hickman, who also drove the Charger and Bullitt, choreographed this scene with zero regard for property values. They destroyed actual storefronts, demolished real cars, and created a scene so intense that modern insurance adjusters probably cry watching it. The famous collision with a truck trailer happened because the driver misjudged the clearance. It was a genuine accident that they kept in the film. That's commitment to realism that borders on reckless endangerment. The film made roughly $2.5 million domestically, modest by any standard, and faded into obscurity while the French Connection got all the glory. But stunt drivers know. They know. Number 5. Car chases don't need highways. Sometimes they just need zombies and desperation. 28 weeks later took the zombie genre and injected it with amphetamines. Director Juan Carlos Fresnadillo crafted a sequence where characters flee London in a civilian car, while rage-infected humans sprint alongside at 28 miles per hour. The production budget was roughly $15 million, economical for a sequel, but the chase through abandoned London streets with practical effects and real locations creates an atmosphere that expensive CGI can't touch. What makes this terrifying isn't speed, it's inevitability. You're not outrunning missiles or Vin Diesel, you're trying to escape creatures that don't feel pain, don't get tired, and absolutely will not stop. The stunt team coordinated with parkour athletes to portray the infected, creating movement that's disturbingly human yet utterly wrong. Watching them vault cars and crash through windows triggers every primal fear center in your brain. The scene was filmed over 6 weeks in desolate London locations, including abandoned hospitals and industrial zones. The authenticity sells the terror. This isn't a soundstage. It's civilization's corpse. What really elevates this chase? The sound design. Every window smash, every body thud against metal. Every guttural scream was recorded practically on location. The audio team captured the echoes of empty London streets, creating a soundscape that makes your skin crawl. And here's a fun fact. The infected actors trained for 3 weeks, learning how to fall, crash, and tumble without seriously injuring themselves. Several performers were former Olympic gymnasts who understood body mechanics at extreme speeds. Number 6.
I've seen the style before. Terminal psychotic.
Before Fury Road made everyone lose their minds, there was the original Mad Max, and its chase scenes are raw, violent poetry. George Miller made this film for roughly 350,000 Australian dollars, about 400,000 US at the time, or $1.5 million today. That wouldn't pay for Tom Cruise's stunt insurance on a Mission Impossible film. What they lacked in money, they compensated for with audacity. The opening pursuit with the Pursuit Special chasing the Knight Rider features real crashes at real speeds on real public highways in rural Australia. Modern safety regulations would never allow it. Stunt coordinator Grant Page earned roughly $1,500 for the entire film, about $6,000 today, and nearly died multiple times. One stunt involved a motorcycle sliding under a semi-truck at 60 miles per hour. They did it in one take because they couldn't afford another motorcycle. The film's antagonist vehicles became automotive legends. That Black Pursuit Special, a modified Ford Falcon XB, is now worth over $100,000 to collectors. Mad Max grossed roughly $100 million worldwide. That's over $300 million today, making it the most profitable film ever at the time. Yet, its chases remain underrated compared to Fury Road's recent dominance of pop culture. Number 7. You want a statistic that'll make your jaw drop? The Blues Brothers destroyed 103 cars. That's a Guinness World Record that stood for years. John Landis directed this musical comedy with the property destruction budget of a disaster film. The Illinois shopping mall chase alone demolished roughly 60 vehicles and an actual shopping mall interior. Dixie Square Mall, already abandoned, but still. The production budget was roughly $27 million, about $95 million today. Universal Studios executives reportedly had panic attacks watching dailies because nobody expected a musical comedy to rival Apocalypse Now's destruction budget. What makes this chase underrated? Comedy. People dismiss it because Jake and Elwood are cracking jokes, while the Illinois State Police pile up like a Looney Tunes cartoon. But the stunt coordination is phenomenal. Every crash is precisely choreographed, every flip perfectly timed. Stunt coordinator Gary McLarty coordinated the chaos with military precision. The final police pileup involved 45 vehicles crashing in sequence, practical effects, real cars, genuine carnage. Dan Aykroyd and John Belushi did some of their own driving, though insurance companies limited their involvement after Aykroyd nearly crashed into a real building. The film made roughly $115 million worldwide, roughly $400 million today, but its chases get overshadowed by the music. Criminal oversight. Number 8. Wait, Fast 5 is underrated? Hear me out. Everyone talks about the vault heist. Dragging a 10-ton bank vault through Rio is admittedly insane, but the opening train sequence gets completely overlooked, and it's one of the franchise's best practical stunts. Director Justin Lin coordinated a sequence where characters steal cars from a moving train, traveling through the countryside at 45 miles per hour. They built a practical train rig, used real cars, and performed actual high-speed transfers between vehicles. The stunt budget for this opening alone was roughly $3 million, about $4 million today. They destroyed multiple cars by intentionally driving them off a real moving train. Insurance companies must charge premium rates. What's criminally underrated? The transition from train to road chase as characters flee corrupt cops through Brazilian backroads. It's shot practically with minimal CGI, giving it weight that later Fast and Furious films lost to digital effects. The film made over $600 million worldwide, proving audiences loved it, but everyone remembers the vault, not the train. The train deserves the respect. Number 9. Korean action cinema doesn't mess around, and the Villainess proves it with a motorcycle sword gun chase that's legitimately unhinged. Director Jung Byung-gil crafted an opening sequence where the protagonist navigates a building corridor on a motorcycle while sword fighting enemies. Then it transitions to a highway chase with more sword fighting on motorcycles. The production budget was roughly $5 million, tiny by Hollywood standards, but the practical stunt work rivals anything from a $100 million blockbuster. Here's what's insane. Much of this was filmed with a helmet-mounted camera on the actual stunt performer. Actress Kim Ok-vin did extensive training, and the motorcycle sword choreography is real. No CGI crutches, just incredible training and borderline crazy commitment. The hallway portion used a specially modified motorcycle that could navigate tight spaces at speed, while the stunt performer executed choreographed sword strikes. The highway chase involved Korean stunt riders performing at 60 miles per hour while swinging weapons. The film premiered at Cannes and received critical acclaim. Western audiences largely missed it. If this were a Hollywood production, we'd never stop talking about it. Number 10. Christopher Nolan said, "What if a car chase, but backwards?" And somehow convinced Warner Brothers to give him $200 million to make it happen. The highway sequence in Tenet features a car driving in reverse through traffic while time flows backward. Not driving backward, time itself is reversed. Your brain will hurt trying to understand it, and that's intentional. What makes this underrated, despite Tenet making roughly $360 million worldwide? Modest for Nolan, people focus on the confusing plot rather than the absolutely bonkers practical stunt work. They actually reverse the driving. Stunt drivers learn to operate vehicles at highway speeds in reverse. They rehearsed for weeks to make reversed physics look believable. Then they filmed everything forwards and backwards to create the temporal inversion effect. The production destroyed multiple vehicles, including an actual Boeing 747 aircraft. Not for the highway chase, but it demonstrates Nolan's practical effects or die-trying philosophy. Stunt coordinator George Cottle coordinated a sequence where vehicles traveling forward interact with vehicles traveling backward in real time. The physics calculations alone probably required advanced degrees. The sequence was filmed on an actual Estonian highway with real traffic management, multiple countries' worth of permits, months of planning, and one director's absolute refusal to use CGI when practical effects will work. What underrated chase did we miss? Drop it in the comments below. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you waiting for? We've got more underrated movie moments coming that'll blow your mind.